Blunderground, short clips.
Fundamental problem is not a desire to be trans. It is a desire to not be a man. A boy who enjoys being a boy will never find himself culturally groomed into transitioning. But one condition to despise his own nature needs only the faintest push. Suppression only goes so far. Like, I thought I had put a lot of that into words. And then this young man just... I never forgot it. I mean, as soon as I read it, I could always say, hey, you know that Roger article? Oh, yeah, no problem.
That.
Yeah.
Sorry letter. My goodness. Like, I get exactly what he's talking about, but that doesn't mean I went and put dresses on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to take it to the extreme because my feelings have been hurt.
Well, I mean, I don't...
That's the problem with masculinity right there. You're bending over and taking it.
And, I mean, he sounds like a wounded individual. I mean, I don't think he really hides it out there. And I think there are a lot of wounded people, wounded individuals. I mean, he certainly does a good job of explaining his feelings and also trying to get in at some root causes.
But none of this gives you an excuse for the second half of that letter.
How do you mean?
So you got to draw a line there, I would think, where you're like, okay, well, I get all that, but look, fella, you're still a fella. We're not going to, soften God's word for you just because you feel bad.
Well, okay, so when Jonah went to Nineveh was an Assyrian city.
Okay.
All right. And so when he went, and so the Assyrians at that time, when Jonah went there, the Assyrians would, one of their practices that they would do is they would when they would capture people in a city,
okay,
they would tie a rope around their neck and they would lead them around like dogs. All right. And so what they would do is they wanted to break the people. That was the whole concept, was they would break the people. All right. The Babylonians are worse. They used to take entire towns and drive them into the desert and then leave them there to starve to death. But the Assyrians would take people by the neck and they would drag them to their family tombs. And they would bust open the family tombs. Okay. And they would drag out all the bones. All right. And so what they would do is they would give the person a rock or a hammer. Okay. And they would have that person by the rope, and they would whip the person as they used the rock to crush the bones of their ancestors. Okay, so that they would, so they were there, and so they would crush the bones of their own ancestors into dust. All right, so, and yet God says, should I not care for them?
Okay.
So, but maybe Jonah wanted to draw a line. Maybe he wanted to draw a line. If you've ever wondered, the reason why men will always ask another guy, hey, what do you do for work? Okay, it's the simple, easiest way to compare myself against that man. Because I can extrapolate so much information from
based off what you do.
Yeah, based off what you do. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, well, what do you do? Well, you tell me. Well, now I know, what you do. I know approximately how long you worked for it, based on your clothes and on your what, how good your wife looks, like all that. Like, I know how good you did in school. I know that how fast you went up the ladder. I know how that job is perceived by other people. I can know how hard you need to work. And so you can extrapolate so much information from that.
Well, I want to point something out.
Yeah.
You don't actually know. Now, I'm playing devil's advocate here, because do I think you can glean a lot of information from that?
Like a fight.
Oh, absolutely.
A fight.
I am. You already know me. But I'm gonna say that aren't you making a judgment now?
Yeah, I think it's kind of illustrative here, because you've kind of like, I read it and then you just went right over your head. You're doing this. You're not even serious about this. You're just trying to goad me because you want stuff for short clips.
Thank you for joining Tom and Steve on Blunderground Short Clips. Don't forget to check out Tom and Steve's flagship podcast, Notes from Blunderground. Then, make the journey from ignorance to knowledge with the Blunderground Railroad. Finally, enjoy music, friends, fun, and fandom in the digital Blunderground. See you next time.